Okay, year 5 and 6. This week's science is all about how we record our investigations, our experiments, so that somebody else can do them and see if they get the same result. What we often find is that we forget to write things down that are really important, particularly things that make sure we have a fair test. So today I'm going to do an experiment involving salt, water and potatoes. You can have a go at this yourself at home if you want to. Just get someone to help you with cutting the potato. If you don't want to have a go or you haven't got the things, it doesn't matter. You can just watch the experiment, look at my write-up and find out what are the things that I've left out that might mean you didn't get the same result as me. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put 200 millilitres of water in each of these glasses. My water is slightly warm, it's not hot, it's just slightly warm, and I'm going to put 200 ml in each one of these glasses. Okay, so now I've got my glasses and I've got 200 millilitres in each glass of slightly warm water. Now I'm going to cut my potato and I'm going to make sure that my potato is the right size. So I'm actually going to use a ruler. Best way to make sure we get the right size we want is to use our ruler. Don't worry, I won't be wasting my ends of potatoes and things because actually we're going to have mashed potato for tea tonight. So any of the bits of potato I don't need for the experiment, I can peel them and put them in with my mashed potato for my dinner. So 2 centimetres. So that's 1 centimetre by 2 1 by, so I've got a cube that is 2 by 1 by 2, so 2 along, 1 deep. So it's a 2 by 1 cube, and I'm going to make sure my cubes are all the same. So I've measured them to make sure they are all the same. Do is I can actually use my scales to just make sure they are the same. I'm lucky enough to have digital scales that can weigh quite small amounts, so I'm going to weigh them to make sure they are all the same. Okay, so if I put them on my scales, they are all, oh, that one's a little bit smaller. I'll put him to one side, see if one of these is the same mass, because the others are 5 grams of mass. Okay. So these are all the same now, and so I know I've got my potato is the same shape and the same weight, and now I'm going to make sure that I put the right amount of salt in each one of my glasses. So I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of salt into my first one. I'll stir it until it's dissolved. I'm going to put 4, oops, ooh, a little bit went over the side. I'm going to put 4 in my next one. And I'm going to put 6 in this one, 8 in this one, and 10 in this one, and then stir them until they've dissolved. So now I've got my salt into all of my glasses. I'm just trying to give them a stir to make sure they're dissolved. These ones that have more salt in them are struggling a little bit to dissolve all the water. But if I keep stirring, they will eventually take the water on board. There we are. Okay, this is the last one that's got 10 teaspoons of salt in it. So we've got 2 teaspoons, 4 teaspoons, 6 teaspoons, 8 teaspoons and 10 teaspoons of salt in this end one. So that's why it's taking a little bit of time to dissolve. It's got more salt, so it's a more saturated solution. Right, so now we're going to put the potato chunks, one in each glass. Oh, interesting. Did you see what happened there? And there. What does that might tell us about it? Now we're going to leave these for half an hour, for 30 minutes. And then we're going to come back and see what's happened to our potato chunks. So my alarm's gone off and told me that the half an hour is up. So now I need to take out my potato pieces from the different solutions and weigh and measure them again. Okay, I'm going to use, so I don't put my fingers on them, I'm going to use these, you can use tongs or tweezers or whatever you've got to hand, but I'm going to take mine out one at a time so that I can weigh them. But I'm going to put them in front of the glass so I know which one's which. And I'm going to have a, don't want to leave them in any longer, otherwise it would be in for the wrong time, because remember we said we were leaving everyone in for the 30 minutes. That's how long we left it, so it was even, we put them all in for the same amount of time. Okay, so I'm now going to weigh and measure them, and I'm going to record on my piece of paper my findings. So you'll see all of the findings from my measurements on the piece of paper. And whilst I clear up everything from the experiment, you can perhaps start thinking about what things I forgot to put on the experiment sheet. What things have you seen that haven't been recorded?